This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
So we're here at the Kever, Rabbi Reuven Grozovsky, Rabbi Reuven Grozovsky. He was born in 1886. He was nifter in 1958, only 72 years old. But he was the son-in-law of Rabbi Baruch Ber. He was Rabbi Baruch Ber's son-in-law. And later the Rosh Yeshiva in Tarvadas, after Rabbi Shlomo Hyman, meaning Rabbi David Leibowitz, Rabbi Shlomo Hyman, Rabbi Reuven Grozovsky. And he was also Rosh Yeshiva in Beis Medrash Elyon. He was born in Minsk. He learned in Slobodka, in Yeshivas Knesset Yisrael. He was a Talmud of Moshe Mordechai Epstein. He was a Talmud of the Alter. In 1919, so at 33, he married Rabbi Baruch Ber's daughter. He lived a very simple life. He lived in Rabbi Baruch Ber's apartment. That was his shita, modesty. He didn't need a lot, and he also wanted to soak in as much as possible from Rabbi Baruch Ber. During World War II, he escaped with some of his Talmidim to the West Coast. He came probably to San Francisco. And then he joined Rav Aaron Kotler and Rav Kalmanovich in heading the Vadatzol. He was able to rescue 110 Yidden from Kamenetz. And he was very active for Agudas Yisrael. So first he was on the Mayetzes Gedolei HaTorah, and ultimately he was the Rosh Mayetzes Gedolei Agudas Yisrael. He was a very active force. He wrote a sefer called Bayos Hazman, where he discusses, the issues of the time, be it secular education, be it the state of Israel. He was one of the founders of Torah Masorah, and he was invited by Rosh Feivel to be the Rosh Yeshiva of Tarvadas, and later Beis Medrash Elyon. Just to give you a little taste, his daily schedule could have, knocked out the strongest person. So he arrived in Beis Medrash Elyon Thursday. He stayed up all Thursday night, every single week, preparing the Friday shir. Then Friday night, he stayed up all night, preparing the Sunday shir. Then Monday, he was back in Tarvadas. This is how he went. 2 nights a week, he was up the entire night. So I want to share with you in the Hakdama of the Chedushay Reb Reuven on Shas, he brings down some of the minhagim of his father, Reb Shimshon Grozovsky. He writes, he followed the Piskei Hagra. He said like this: he spent every possible penny to upgrade his children's education. He would not praise his children. And whenever he would tell his children to do something, he would say, please do this if you want. Why? Because he didn't want to be machshel them in l'fnei iver l'sid michshel. If you ask your child to do something, they don't do it, you're being machshel them. So he would say, please do this if you want. He was not the Rav of the city. It says that he was very zahir b'chvoidei shel Rav. He taught the workers in the city Shulchan Aruch every morning. And any Maimer Chazal that you would tell him, he could say a drush on it immediately. He knew Baal Peh Mesachta Brachos with the Rif. This is the father of Reb Reuven. So Nebuch at 66 years old, Reb Reuven was hit by a car in a very suspicious circumstance. It was like a hit and run. They don't know why. It was very suspicious. He had a stroke. Because of that, he couldn't really speak. His faculties were impaired. So for 6 years, Nebuch, for 6 years, Klal Yisrael was left without fully functioning Reb Reuven. And one Hasidic Rebbe said, Hashem was merachim on Klal Yisrael, not to take Reb Reuven away from us suddenly, but Yehi Zichrei Baruch, he should be a Meil Tzedek for all of Klal Yisrael.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.